Hello everyone, this is Lincoln Prime, and today we are taking a look at the S.H.Figuarts Ultraman from the brand new Netflix original film Ultraman Rising. I personally love this movie, and I highly recommend it to all of you guys in case you haven't watched it yet. It is a movie that I think fans will love and will also work as a great introduction to people who are willing to get into the Ultraman franchise as a whole. And the figure we're taking a look at, in my opinion, perfectly captures the look of the character from the film. Also, to my knowledge, there are no reviews on this figure just yet per the time I'm filming this, so this may be the very first review that's been done for this guy. Taking a look at the figure itself, the first thing that is very noticeable is the lankiness, and that is one area where I exercise caution when handling this figure due to how fragile the joints may be. He feels like a solid figure, but I still don't want to risk breakage in any way, shape, or form. The proportions, while very interesting, are still accurate enough to the film. My only issue, and some people were pointing it out as well, is that the neck looks a little bit too long, but it's not the biggest deal. Besides proportions, the overall sculpt work looks outstanding. You have muscle definition in a few areas that were nicely sculpted, as well as panel lines that help to separate the different colors of paint. If there are two things that I really love about this figure, it's the blue plastic that was used for the eyes and the color timer. I love how they kind of have a foggy effect, and I also love that when you look into the eyes, you can kind of see what appears to be pupils like what he has in the film. The head sculpt is also very nice and very classic looking, which I highly appreciate. And of course, the paintwork on this guy is very nicely applied. However, I do have a few areas where there is some scratched paint, like on the bicep here for example, but it's not terrible. One other issue that I have with this figure is that the shoulder on this side is jutting out more than the shoulder on the other side, and it makes it look very asymmetrical. You can kind of hide it, but it's still pretty noticeable, unfortunately. Now, when it comes to the accessories, we get 3 pairs of hands, a pair of fisted hands, relaxed hands, and flight pose hands. And we also get the red color timer piece to replace with the blue one. I do wish this figure came with Emmy, but Tamashii Nations did release an alternate version that comes with her but costs an extra $10. Me personally, I'm not too upset about it since what I did pay for this figure was already decent in itself, and now I feel like this is a good segue into the articulation segment.
So the articulation on Ultraman is actually pretty decent, but there are a few areas where I wish there could have been a little bit more, just considering how lanky he is. But so basically we have a ball joint in the head, but it's kind of like a dumbbell ball joint, so you can kind of see there's a bit of a split there. So he can look up very, very far, and that's mostly just to accommodate for, like the flight poses and all that kind of stuff. So that's really useful. And he, of course, can also look down pretty far, which is pretty nice. Of course, he can look side to side, but unfortunately on mine, it's a bit limited, so only really the neck can kind of do that. But yeah, and of course, because the neck, he can look up even farther, which is really cool. So there is that, as well as down, not too much, but a little bit of side-to-side motion and some side-to-side motion in the head as well. The arms can rotate all the way around. I'm trying to be very careful with this. It was, I know it's pretty cheap for an S.H.Figuarts, but it's still S.H.Figuarts, so yeah. But yeah, arms can rotate all the way around. They can move out about that far. They can also drop down and stuff because this slight kind of butterfly joint right here. Speaking of butterfly joints, the shoulder can move out about that much like so, which is pretty cool, and back not too far because of all of that. So there's that. Of course, we do have a bicep swivel, which is very nice. We have a double jointed elbow, but yeah, this one is pretty limited. I was not too happy with how limited this elbow joint was, unfortunately. So yeah, but he still has it, I guess. So there's that. And then we also get a up and down at the wrist, and if you rotate it around and then rotate the wrist, you can get some side to side motion. And then of course, like I showed, you can swivel it, so you do have that. Now in the torso, we do have an ab crunch, which can go about that far down. We have another joint right in here, which can cause him to go down a little bit more. In terms of crunching backwards, you can get a little bit more, but I don't want to push it too much. You can get a slight swivel. This is one of my other complaints about the articulation. It's just there's not much diaphragm motion here, and I understand why. It's just all the shaping here just kind of keeps it from doing that. He's a very interestingly shaped character, so that's definitely why he's not too dynamic in that aspect, unfortunately. Now when it comes to the legs here, this is my issue with the legs. They can't really kick forward too far. Now there is a little bit of a thing right here, and as you can see, there's this kind of like shifter joint, and so that can help with moving the legs forward a little bit more. So he can kick out pretty far, it's just you can't align it very well, so you can't really like have him kneel properly without it looking weird. So yeah, not too much big of a fan of that, unfortunately, but do have a swivel at the leg. I should mention it can kick forward, back a little bit, but yeah. And of course kick out to the side, not too much, just because of that joint. They really should have like redone that joint. And now I'm just noticing that there is a drop down joint, and I'm realizing how much of an idiot I am. There we go. Thank God I discovered this on camera. So there's that. Cool. So yeah, there's all that. And now of course we do have a very nice bend at the knee, double jointed. So you got that, and then you got a swivel at the ankle, up and down at the ankle, an ankle pivot, and a toe bend. So yeah, articulation is pretty decent. Just wish certain areas had a little bit more, and I'm really happy I found out about that drop down joint, because I was like, there's no way that's it. Like, this is an S.H.Figuarts. There's no way that's the only amount of range on that leg. But yeah, so articulation on this guy is actually pretty decent.
With all the posability on this figure, you can pull off lots of great poses, as well as the Ultra Inflation pose.
Linkimus Prime Productions, for the absolutely abysmal joke you just made, you are now barred from the Ultraman community as a whole, and as a result, we are kicking you out. Pack your things at once.
But I live here.
Not anymore.
And just for a quick size comparison, here he is next to the S.H.Figuarts Ultraman 1966, the S.H. Monster Arts Godzilla 1954, and the Hayatoys Godzilla 2019. Overall, I highly recommend picking this figure up if you're a huge fan of this film or of Ultraman in general. While he doesn't come with much, he is a very fun figure to have, and for a $35 price point, I'd say he is worth it. This is currently a Best Buy exclusive, so make sure to pick him up from there or online. But anyways, guys, that is about it for this review. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.